All right, well, welcome back to Fourth and Three Dudes. I'm Chris. Over there, there is Bernie, and down there is Cord. So you know who we are by now. But anyway, we figured we'd come back and just, play three angry old men, or maybe not old, but talk about some different things that
Definitely old.
that
Not so angry, more old.
Have been on our mind about again some of the things around college football, what's coming up in the future, and again what we think should maybe potentially happen to change it. But anyway, before we get into that, we still need to worry about what we're drinking. So I'm going with Bearded Iris's Tunnel Vision. Fantastic beer. I think they're out of Nashville, Tennessee, or somewhere up in there. Nice hazy IPA. But how about you, boys?
I'm going with Bernie's Glass of Makers and Ginger Ale.
That's not your backwash bourbon?
Just dripped a little on my keyboard there. So welcome from St. Mary's, where it's currently 76 degrees.
Oh, goodness. How about you there, Cord? What you got going on, buddy?
I'm drinking a Bordeaux 2015. Nope. That is the red blend from Aldi. My mistake.
That sounds more like
nothing like a Bordeaux.
Very, very, very close.
Well, they're the same color.
They're the same color for the most part, depending on what light you got it in.
Total fail.
All right. Well, I guess go ahead and get us started. One of the things we've been talking about is the transfer portal, and one of my biggest things. Well, again, that's of course what I hate most right now. I think it's causing most of the trouble in college football. But I don't know. I want to know if the transfer portal is actually real anymore, because again, kids can just unroll from the university and go and enroll in another university. If that can happen, we're just in the wild, wild west now?
Right.
It's worse than the problem.
It is real. To answer your question, it is real because it's a problem. But you're right. There's loopholes around it, like the kid you mentioned from Wisconsin that transferred to Miami because they wouldn't release him, so he transferred, and that's an academic decision. Well, that's what we'll call it, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's real because it's a hardship on coaches. I do believe in the transfer portal. I just feel like there needs to be restrictions on the windows, and I think we all agree on that based on our previous, pre-recording chat. But coaches shouldn't have to deal with the transfer portal at certain times. I was a proponent of the transfer portal because coaches up and leave, so kids should be up and leave. But can they leave every year? We got kids that have been at 6 different schools, and it's just we called it the Wild Wild West, and that's a funny way to term it. But there has to be some pivot. There needs to be a hard pivot to when it's best for the student athlete and when it's best for the team, the coaches, and most importantly, the game.
Yeah. What you think there, Cord?
I like the portal for the players that are like second or third string that could start anywhere in the country, but if they're backed up to a number one player in the SEC or a Big Ten school, and they can go somewhere else and show their talent instead of sitting on the bench, I do like that. But if you're a fan and you're not a top 20 team, like Washington State, they lost 2 quarterbacks in the last 2 years, and those guys were both lights out. And I can't blame the kid taking the money, but gosh, to be a fan and have someone like that in your lineup, and then
everybody leaves.
Yeah, as soon as the portal opens up, see ya.
Yeah, it is. I think it's going to start shifting a lot of things like that because people aren't going to be able to be as invested in a team in the future of their team because, you can embrace the tradition that you have and all that, but you don't have as many of those players that, again, that are waiting in the wings that are going to come up and be that next stalwart player for your team, potentially, unless you got a coach that can convince them to stay. But yeah, the money is too big right now, and until somebody or again, who that's going to be and how that's going to be done, whether it's going to be Congress doing it with limitations on collectives, but I mean the NIL part. I don't know how they're going to actually be able to limit that. It's going to be crazy on that side. But
On the other side of it, you got to have coaches that are willing to say, you need to try, you need to hit that button because you're not making it here for whatever reason, whether it's behavioral difference with the coaching staff or just they're just not advancing in their position as they matriculate. Because, and that's the other side of the coin. That's where we are as Georgia fans. We have to trust Kirby to kind of manage that because the reality is it's affecting recruiting too of these, high caliber athletes out of high school that, does a program like Georgia, Ohio State, um, Alabama, Texas, do they want to take a chance on you used to be happy to get so many 4 stars
right.
and take a chance on a 3-star. And now, those guys are going to take a chance on a 4-star when it just may not work out. You're just trying to kind of stack the deck with who you think you can get and then plan for kids to leave and plan to have those spots open, a year or two down the road.
It's almost like they're varsity football coaches where they get their players for 2 years and then they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, they don't really recruit except for like the big.
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's totally changed. I mean, I never thought about the coaching aspect and their troubles. But, you got a big INL, you like Lane Kiffin, you go out and buy whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, that was one of the things that a lot of people were talking about with Ohio State this past year. The amount of money they spent on NIL and all of that, bringing in $22 million team. But again, if you can do it, do it. I mean, I suppose. But yeah, it is. What expense to the game is that coming? So I mean, the whole transfer portal. I mean, with it, what do you think could be done to potentially change it? Do you have any idea on I mean, what would be one thing you try to do to fix it?
I think, based on our previous discussion, we have to move it after the bowl games. I mean, it's insane for a roster to be completely different going into the bowl game because the bowl games generate so much money. And we can take a step back because some of these decisions are made before it opens during the championship week. And, championship games, conference championships make so much money. They're not going away. So the conference commissioners have to get together and tell the NCAA to grow a pair and let's protect the game and not have kids, walk out on their team, before a conference championship game because they're not getting playing time when there may be an injury during that week that the coach has to deal with. And so, I think the timing of it, going back to what I said earlier, I think we all agree transfer portal is a good thing. Kids should be able to move. I think we should limit how many times, and I think we should limit the windows, and it should be after the season. The season ends in January. If the kid's not is done with their bowl game, then I think right now they have so many days to proclaim they're in the transfer portal, and the team has time to adjust to that. And then after spring practice makes sense, obviously. But so it can't be just wide open. It can't be like a quick checkout at Kroger at 5:30 p.m. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, I mean, before the bowl game, that's horrible. I mean, look what happened to Marshall.
Yeah.
Didn't they have to forfeit or pass on their bowl game because their whole team left?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much the whole team followed their coach.
Jeez, I don't even know what to say about that. That's the dumbest thing ever. And then, I mean, and I've been saying it to myself for years. Instead of these guys sitting out for the NFL, insure them, just like Colorado did. And I don't care what kind of policy it is; they're making enough money for that, or have the bowl game, pay their insurance policies for those players. I mean, just stick with your team, do something for the fans.
Yeah, I mean the other part we had talked about too was just whether or not what impact it is with the kids that do want to transfer. If you wait until after the bowl games, what concessions could be made for those students to be able to transfer in, because
anything they want. When can you get here? That's when you start. That's when you're eligible. I mean, what are they going to miss? Like 3 weeks?
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I know, but I mean, I don't know what rules the actual academic sides of the universities have. So that being the bigger part of it, which is, yeah, I mean, but I mean, because a lot of schools, I mean, don't even start till potentially after the championship games are over. Like, I mean, I know Katie, going back to Missouri, they didn't start till after that game was played. So in some places, obviously, it would be more or easier thing than others. But anyway, yeah, it's just craziness. So I mean,
they're all communication grads, anyways. Get a tutor.
and talking about those kind of things, the signing day. I mean, do we need the early signing day? What was wrong with the signing day in February? Anything?
What do you think, Cord?
When's the early one?
Early ones.
December during championship week.
I didn't sign. I just showed up.
you didn't have a big ceremony?
Hey, me too.
You're who? I'm here. I'm me.
All right. Here's your jersey. Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous that coaches have to deal with that during championship week season. And when I say that, I'm talking about conference championships, and that still means something to me as a fan. I think it means something to a lot of fans, and it means something to colleges because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money those games bring in. They're not going away, even though writers right now will tell you that we can do away with them. But logistically, yeah, we could do away with them. You can make a case on paper, but money-wise is what this is all driven by. They're not going away. And for a coach to have to deal with early signing day the same week they're preparing for a major conference championship game is ridiculous. And we need to go back. It made sense when they made the change, and then it became a huge deal. It was the bigger signing day. But there were still kids that could enroll in January that just signed early, and then you knew they were there. What's the big deal? So we have to protect that week. We have to protect those games. And I'll die on that hill. I know I'm not alone, but the SEC championship game means a lot. That's the goal every season, is to get there, because that can drive you into the playoffs. And I think that is the same for a lot of conferences.
Yeah.
If it's not
even the Pac-2.
If it's not the goal, then the system's broken.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, I hope I take third so we can get the championship, and
Although, again, with the results this year, it turned out that way. But anyway,
I don't know why the Pac-2 champs weren't in there. That should have been a lock with the bye.
Yeah, just slipped out.
Frauds. They're total East Coast favorites.
Speaking of the Pac-2, what's the whole situation with that? How's that?
We got a conference.
You got a conference?
Yeah, we got 8. We got Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, Oregon State, San Diego State, Washington State, Utah State, and State Farm, and Gonzaga.
What was the last?
Gonzaga's the odd man out.
Yeah,
they're going to change their name to Gonzaga.
We got our own insurance. So
Gonzaga's just
basketball, but that's for the 26-27 season, and we got one more year. There's talk about North Texas and UTSA and maybe a couple teams in Florida, but
in Florida?
Yeah.
Goodness.
Not UCF, is it? It was, I don't know. That's a long way.
UCF's in the Big 12 right now, aren't they? I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're not going. It was another Florida school you mentioned earlier in the season.
Might have been South Florida. Might have been the Bulls.
The Bulls, yeah.
Tatanka.
Tatanka. That's Buffalo.
Gosh, that'd be a horrible plane ride. That's like Cal and Stanford.
Yeah.
For a volleyball team on a Tuesday night.
I do wonder how all that's working out for the Big Ten.
They do their homework on the plane, I guess.
I guess so.
I think it's working for baseball. I think the Big Ten teams are doing a lot of their early season games out on the West Coast or whatever, trying to do that while everything is still a frozen tundra in the Midwest.
Yeah, I don't know how they do that, going and staying at a school for 3 or 4 days, during the season, during school.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not smart enough to play baseball. But Oregon State got their 2 first 4 stars
Nice.
for
Who'd
the
they pull
year, and then we'll lose them. Malik
You got him
Murphy
for
from
now.
Duke.
in?
He started out at Texas and bounced around, and now they were 9-3 at Duke last year. So I think he visited the school earlier and just felt comfortable there. So he jumped out of Duke and came to Oregon State.
What
Nice.
position?
What? Quarterback.
What position? Quarterback. Okay.
Yeah. So DJ's gone, and then we lost the Idaho kid, and then Go Branson retired. He's been there for like 20 years. He's got his own doctorate. And
Nice.
then we got another 4-star.
What about Baby Bowers?
Do what?
Baby
Baby
Black Bowers.
Bowers.
No. He was a walk on. He's already there. He's got a scholarship now.
He
Okay.
didn't leave. Right?
Shoot, I just had it. He was from anyway. Notre Dame. We took him from Notre Dame.
Oh, there you go.
So he was a tight end. But yeah, that's more stars that I saw. That's more stars than I saw when I was there.
Except for by your name.
Except
for Georgia transfers, I'm excited about Micah Bell. Name and I were talking about him before Cord got on, but Dylan Bell's brother coming from Vanderbilt started at where did he start at? Hold on a second. I had it up just like Cord. I lost it. Started at Notre Dame.
We need better producers for this show. This show sucks.
As a cornerback.
I think Case Harris watching this.
Anyway, Vanderbilt used him offensively, and they use him a lot like his older brother. So I think he'll add some versatility to the wide receiver / athlete room. So, Georgia got some good players. Got the brothers from, where was it? USC, right, Nema?
The Branch brothers.
The Branch brothers. So, this kind of transitions into leading up to spring practices is when you start to get some intel of how the new guys are transitioning in, the transfers first of all, and then obviously the early enrollees that are there on campus. Some of them that were there for the bowl practices or playoff practices. So that's always an interesting time it's still interesting as a fan. So I look forward to that and seeing how we get moving towards August when the shit hits the fan, or I'm sorry, the rubber hits the road.
Come on now, we're a family friendly show. So yeah, spring practice. I mean, you still up for the spring game, or are you with the other conspiracy theorists that's just another opportunity for somebody to see your players and steal them? And the next
it's money for where we are as Georgia fan. It's money, that can be televised. And Kirby, since he got here, before we even started winning games, was getting fans in there. I remember going to the first 93K day, and it was hot. The water lines were 30 minutes long, and it was miserable. But I mean, that's a fan experience, and even if you can't get there, you'll be able to watch your team on TV. But I understand some of the intrigue of keeping it untelevised and no one can attend because you don't know who's going to leave. Like we were talking about, pre-show. A quarterback could leave with the whole playbook to go to a rival, and that's not a good situation.
Or Connor Stallions might be in the stand, but
do you see what Lane Kiffin did with his spring game?
No,
he canceled it. For injuries and stuff like that. He didn't want them, so he did the Grove games. So instead of a spring game where you're knocking heads, he's got a slam dunk competition, a hot dog eating contest, a tug of war challenge, and it's more, everyone comes out to see the fans and no one gets hurt. But a 7-on-7 flag football team.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Just a thought.
Yeah, like the Pro Bowl games.
Players are expensive at Oxford. Don't want to get them hurt.
It's a cool idea, but does it give the coaches enough going into the summer to make evaluations? That would be a good question.
You see those guys. Yeah, I think if you're with them every day, double sessions, I think you probably know.
I think that's one of the things. Like I was listening to Dog Nation earlier today, and that was the part of it too. It's like they talked about this. Maybe it wasn't one of them, another podcast, but they talked about the fact that the Kirby has always said that the biggest part of the spring sessions were the practices. It wasn't the game, because I mean, yeah, he didn't like having to deal with that and whatever anyway. But I mean, he knows it's a good thing to bring the fans in, to have them there, and have a product on the field to get everybody else hyped up for it. But kind of what Cord was saying, they actually see or saw everything they needed to see and were able to do everything they needed to truly do in the practices they had. So
every now and then, though, there's that player that, under the radar, because you hear intel or hear rumors about a kid during spring practices, and all of a sudden you go to G-Day or the spring game, and this kid just kind of shows out. You're like, I didn't hear about him, and the coaches are kind of wild-eyed too. So, it's all interesting. Whatever comes.
They usually find a way to raise to the top.
Yeah.
But Kiffin, he brought in Joey Chestnut.
Oh, nice.
He
for
did?
the hot dog eating contest.
For vegan hot dogs?
A stage one?
Do what?
For vegan hot dogs?
Joey Chestnut?
He brought in Joey Chestnut for the hot dog eating competition for the Grove Games. And so you got these 300, 400 pounders next to him, and he's just stuffing them down. Not even close. I think what it was is he was banned from Nathan's for signing a deal with
the vegan hot dogs.
I don't know what it was.
The vegan hot dogs.
Yeah, there you go.
He did. So he was not able to
that scandal.
Yep. Yeah. He couldn't participate in the competition on the 4th of July this year. So,
I didn't realize when you're talking about the Grove Games, I didn't know that it already happened.
Well, yeah, instead of the spring game last year, they had like a little
last year. Okay.
Are they going to do it again this year, or as he said?
I think so. I think he's going to expand it. They They have a slam dunk. They put a basketball court in the square of the town, and the whole town goes out there and watch the slam dunk competition.
Nice.
Well, they have a ham dog eating station, and the three of us should go. We haven't done that I'm not sure how to get clearance for that.
Yeah, you'd win that one. I got a picture.
Cardiologist and my wife.
Well, again, the last and only time we did that was the day we all found out that Mia was going to be coming.
Yeah.
So,
going where?
Into the world.
Into the world. That was when y'all. That's when y'all announced that, because I kept wanting to know why Meg wasn't having herself a cold beer.
Surprise!
Surprise!
But,
yeah, I think she took one look at those ham dogs. She's like,
yeah. Well,
moved her tailgate chair down the road.
Right. Our wives did the same thing, but not because of that reason. But,
right.
Ooh, those were delicious, though. Goodness gracious. We need to resurrect those. But
we can do it at App State when we take the show on the road.
That's true. Yep. Okay. I guess we can go ahead and announce our show trip. Oh my goodness. We took our show trip to Boone, North Carolina.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
When the Beavers face off against App State. So what is that again? October 3rd or something like that?
I already got us rooms at the Fairfield Inn. If you guys want to see us live, come on down to the lobby. They got breakfast at 6:30. It's free.
Ham dogs at 9:30.
Oh my goodness. We got to bring our ham dog.
Well, we got to be off property in the parking lot next to the Jiffy Lube.
Okay. Liability.
Yeah.
Liability and all.
They don't want us boiling oil out there in the parking lot.
We've got 2 show trips planned next year, because we got to do the Georgia-Florida game too when we're heading down to. All 3 of us will be able to go to St. Mary's and then down to Jacksonville.
We get to see the ice maker in action.
I'll open the door, maybe you can hear it. It just went off.
Oh, it's like reindeer hooves on your roof. It's magical.
You're really overselling it.
He is, man. He loves them.
I don't think our fans know what I'm talking about, but it's awesome.
They do. The 2 times you were down here and we recorded, they heard all about it.
Well, I don't remember those. Christmas. It was magical, I just got to say.
All right. Well, anything else pressing to talk about now that y'all can think of?
What you got, Cord?
I'm all out. I just want to give a shout out to my new favorite cousin, Kate, and Mia, who's in the library right now in Oxford, working it out.
Yeah, Cord and Nama got to meet Cousin Kate
They
face to
did.
face. They know she actually exists.
She does.
And she, according to Cord, she's been blowing up his phone ever since with when we recording.
You're not supposed to say that on the air.
She
Can
wants
we
to
get
get the
no,
live
no.
chats.
Which I know is not true.
Are you guys online yet?
But anyway, yeah. Shout out to the few of you who have logged on and listened to this I'm sorry, we're a family show, Nama still.
We're still a family
Crap.
show.
But yeah, we're just looking forward to spring practices and more stuff coming out of and hopefully, based on this show, 3 old angry men. More changes to the way college football is now to protect the game.
Yeah. Oh wait, we didn't talk about Puglisi versus Gunner. I guess we can save that.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I like Gunner, but everything I've heard about Ryan Puglisi, am I saying it right?
I think it's Puglisi. I mean,
he's like Stafford in the way he can fling the ball. I saw some tape last week on him where he just zinging it. So he has an element to the game that Stockton doesn't, but Stockton has an element that Pug doesn't have. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. Anyways, we said this numerous times, Emma, got to trust our coaching staff to make the right decision.
I trust on the line to protect them so you don't break elbows back there. Just saying.
I know.
Playoff exposed.
Playoff exposed. My goodness.
O-line.
Yeah, we'll circle back to the whole playoff thing again sometime in the future, but I still think those instead the teams that got the bye should get the home games. But
they'll make those changes.
Yeah. So I think that proved to be a much bigger thing than anybody potentially expected it to be. But anyway. All right. Well, thanks for those of y'all who have been listening. We definitely appreciate it. We will probably come back to you sometime around the spring games, unless we decide we want to get together on whatever night of the week and have a Bordeaux or a backwash
Aldi
backwash Aldi or some kind of special bourbon mix. But anyway, until then, we appreciate it, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go home.